You always have your family, your friends, yourself, your mental health that you always have to almost put first because at the end of the day, this is a game and this is the reality.
Lo LaBonta is back with us. Lo, we are coming off of a good conversation about having some of these rookies or teenagers playing in the league. And you've played with them, you've played against them, you've trained with them. So, what are some of the challenges of having young first year professional players, whether it's having them in part of a development form, training with the club versus being really big contributing factors to how a team plays and winning on the pitch.
Yeah, and don't forget basically raising them as well. I actually met one of, my teammates, she's still 17, 18, I think, in June, Katie Scott, and I met her parents at the home opener this weekend, and she was like, "Well, come over, like, meet my parents. This is my mom, my dad," and I was like, "And I'm team mom over here with my babies." I have to get all these facials, to look young like my teammates, but it is special. I think it gives you a whole nother perspective of the game. I'm kind of old school, like grind, grind. And this newer generation coming up of very skilled athletes trying to come into this league that is very transitional, very physical. Um, it's interesting and it's sometimes you're like, I have patience, I am kind, I love, uh, but these young players just want to learn and want to just great grab onto any information you'll give them. So it's funny when you think of the age difference. Like I am double the age of a lot of these players and I enjoy it. They keep me young, but it's an interesting topic for sure.
Well, we never would have
That was
known you're double their age. Never.
Yeah,
that was
it's
so
all
Mean Girls.
these
Like, I'm a
facials.
cool mom.
I am, I swear.
You girls keep me young. We need to like clip that for social, I beg. Um, do you think, Lo, and obviously this is sort of starting to move in the direction of what we see more broadly in Europe, where the college system isn't such a fixture in place that would essentially make players older as they enter their pro careers. Fixtures like La Masia, where you've seen Messi come out of that at a very, very young age and they've sort of moved forward. It seems like NWSL has gotten this injection of youth that's been even 17 years old or younger in recent seasons. And now with the alleviation of the draft, I think my expectation is that's going to become the normal mainstream movement. As a vet of the game now, 11th season, how do you see this sort of changing, even maybe possibility the way that you play?
Yeah, I think, when this first started happening, when Olivia Moultrie, basically won the case against the league and was able to play him, now we were able to have these younger players. It was always asked from us who went to college and graduated and went through that system, do you recommend they go? And maybe back in the day, I was like, oh, yeah, I loved college. But now we're starting to transition to where a lot of these clubs are creating these academies now, just like on the men's side. And we're going to start with even younger players and bring them through the system. And I think one of the coolest thing is signing homegrown players. It's just that you just rep your city and your club differently. So I love it. I think, a big almost pro in this league now is Claire Hutton, the person that plays beside me that has been getting called in the national team. People may forget that last year she was a rookie. She was 18. She skipped out on going to college and now she's getting called in the national team. So now I just eat my words when I said these youngins need to go to college. They're coming in, they're proving themselves, and I'm a fan.
Someone like Hutton, too, if she did go to college, it would be a vastly different experience. You wouldn't be in and around pros every day, training alongside other internationals and national team superstars. I doubt she would have even been called into a senior national team camp if she was in college, right? They would probably still think of her a little bit more along the lines of a U20 or, U18 camps to bring her in and into that mix. But when you take that next step and you're every single day around other professionals, you get that rub a little bit of being a pro and continuing to take those next steps in your career. That's what I see from someone like Hutton. Okay, Lo, congrats are in order for an opening weekend of fireworks for KC Current, a big win over Portland. But aside from all the goals and the great play, we got a Michelle Cooper 24th minute goal, followed by what looked to be a Lo LaBonta inspired celebration. Dare I say choreographed? Break it down. Did you practice this, Selly? How did it come about?
So this, everybody asks me, do you plan celebrations? And I don't. So we were literally about to go out on the field, warm up. We were lacing up our boots. And I just looked at Cooper. Like, obviously, I asked Temwa, what are you going to do? Not if you score a goal, when you score a goal. And she was like, I have one. And I go, okay, can't wait. And I saw Cooper. I said, well, what are you doing? And she was like, remember when you had me over for Super Bowl? And we're watching the halftime show, and there's a part of Kendrick Lamar's halftime show where like 50 people were doing this little sidestep, and I was like, clip it, we're using it. She remembered it. She said, we're doing this. And I said, bet. And she lined it up perfectly. And I was so excited that we got a goal, Sally, on the first game. Made my heart happy. And also, what a banger of a goal. Oh my gosh.
25 yards out, she put some sauce on that. I think Kendrick would have been proud, to be fair.
Bro, surely America is proud for sure.
Just, not to add salt to the wound, but that Super Bowl weekend was quite sweet for my Philadelphia 11 heart.
Only
Oh, I
sweet.
knew this was coming.
I love it. I'm a Chiefs fan because obviously they pay my bills, but I will give you your kudos. Shout out to them.
Thank
Jalen
you.
Hurts, Quan Barkley. That was a
So good.
class performance.
So
Yes.
good. Wow. We're getting her over to the green side. Both of you guys wearing green today. For the Eagles? For the Irish? Who knows? Who knows?
Celtic, even though I think they got whooped this weekend against Rangers, but it's all right. It's a good jersey.
All right. Across the NWSL, we got to see 21 goals in this opening weekend. We didn't get a 9-goal thriller out of KC, but we did get a couple, 3 for Kansas City, 1 for Portland in that win. But there was a lot to take in across the 7 matches, Low. And as a player and someone who got to take in some of these games, what's a theme that you noticed about all these different goals that were scored?
I'll give one shout out real quick. 2 sixes scored goals this weekend. Shout out to my sixes. None of them are on my team, but I always love when a 6 scores a goal with McCutcheon and Kiki Pickett. Those were both bangers. But overall, I will say my common theme for all these games were pressure pockets, which created opportunities on goal. I think, with this league now, teams are, wanting to develop and build out the back, but you have to be so sharp when you're doing that because you have athletes on the front line that will pick off these passes and create opportunities on goal. We saw Banda do it. We saw Spirit with Hatch tapping one after Ricketts hit one off the bar, maybe bounce in. I don't know. We need that goal line technology. But these will come from transition, and this league, I think, is the best at that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the turnovers, Low, and high pressure from everyone across the league is different. It's almost as if there's an evolution of the game at times, knowing that teams are going to step up high. And when you're on the offense of that, trying to build out of that high press, is it that much more nerve-wracking knowing that, okay, these teams are going to push us into these pressure pockets as we're trying to break the press?
Yeah, and that's, I think that's the beauty of the game, that coaches are always trying to come up with these new ways, and I love that we are trying to become possession oriented in this league. That is the beautiful side of soccer, right? That is what fans love. But I will tell you one thing fans love more, and that's goals. And so if you are not sharp, these athletes will come pick it off, hit bangers. I mean, Banda, I don't even know how far that one was out, but she's fast and she's strong and she's gonna finish. So especially against Orlando, if you're not sharp, they will take advantage. And I mean, they took advantage 6 times, I think, this weekend.
There's also so much more pressure on goalkeepers, I will say, in this high pressure system that we're seeing because, I mean, you can be a Mandy McGlynn and get an assist in a game for Utah, but there was also a lot of moments where she didn't have options to pass out of the back and she was being forced into these pressure pockets. And high press from Bay against Utah was forcing McGlynn to play not the best passes. So goalkeepers are now going to have to evolve their game so much more to be able to play with their feet, to be able to build out of the back and just combat all the high press that is really being a developing tactic in the NWSL that we're seeing. Lo, in your game, there's also, along with the celebrations that happened during the match, but post match, there was a big surprise that watching on the broadcast, all of a sudden I was like, whoa, proposal? What's happening? What's happening? So what the heck happened?
There was one person that was very surprised. So Ellie Willer, her boyfriend, had reached out to, I think, almost every single person on the team, people who work for the club, and was like, look, this is what I'm trying to do. Home opener. I'm bringing her family out, my family out, the players. Let's set something up. So all of the players, we were like, oh my gosh, we have to win this game. Like, there was so much pressure to make this perfect for Ellie. What would have made it the best is if she would have scored. I think she had one opportunity in the game, but last year she scored on the home opener as well. But it's right. She's got a fat ring on that finger now. It is amazing. She was so surprised. I think our coach was also surprised too. I didn't tell him about it, but we were about to, we're heading into post game, media, and he was just asking me a question. I was like, shh, Blacko, like Ellie's getting proposed to right now. And he was like, what? And I'm like, you don't need the stress of knowing that heading into a game. You could focus on the game. I'll focus on the players. And it was just an amazing game. That ring just wrapped it up perfectly for
Oh,
us.
she
Hey, who
looked
says soccer
surprised.
isn't romantic?
I know. I
Obvious.
love it so much. It doesn't necessarily always love me back, but I love soccer.
Yeah, that sentiment resonates.
But pressure, I mean, I like your theme, Lo, that you have of pressure, of the team feeling pressure and high press coming. We also got the announcement over the weekend that longtime U.S. women's national team star and Angel City forward Sydney Leroux was going to be stepping away from the game, taking a bit of a mental health leave due to all the pressure that she feels as an athlete. It's, of course, we're wishing her well and stand by her in support of this decision, but Lo, it can't be easy to make this decision by any means.
Absolutely not. And especially if you know Sydney LaRue, she will play with a broken leg, broken arm, anything. But this is the reality of the game is that these athletes are human beings off the field. Sydney LaRue, for example, is taking care of two other little precious human beings as well. And so this these are the types of pressure, right? You always have your family, your friends, yourself, your mental health that you always have to almost put first because at the end of the day, this is a game and this is the reality. And so I am honestly so proud of her and grateful for her to just put her mental health first and
Mhm.
focus on that. And she knows she will come back, everybody with welcoming arms. Just come back to us when you're ready. We have your back. I think the club showed her that, and her teammates are definitely showing that. And I think when you have that support, it makes this decision much easier.
And now, because of the new CBA, players actually have the space to be open about a situation like this and understand that they are still going to have a paycheck coming in. They can take the time and the resources provided to them by their clubs, by the league, to put their mental health first. And we're with you, Sydney LaRue. Of course, keeping her in our thoughts as this season goes on. And you, Lo. Thanks for hanging with us. You got another busy week, right? You got trainings and games. It's like the hamster wheel cycle never ends now. And you're throwing in
Yeah, but
training.
I start yeah, right? But I start with you guys, it's all happy, and then I go into training, and I have film, and I get torn apart, but this is a positive start to my week every time.
So wait, if this is the pressure episode, we get diamonds, each of us at the end, right, producer Mark? More on theme?
Yeah.
Just lots of diamonds? No? Jewelry?
Yes, all the diamonds after the pressure. Lo, thank you. Mwah. Have a fabulous week.
Oh.